Hi everyone, welcome to day 22 of our DSA series. This is Soumya Paul, a mentor at CodeCurdos and a software developer at Amazon. And in today's video, we will be learning how to dry run recursive algorithms. Now in the previous video, we saw how to write the code for this power function, where I have to find x power n. And we wrote this function in a recursive manner. And I taught you how recursion is nothing but breaking a problem into two different parts. You break a total final big problem into a smaller problem and a bigger problem. The smaller problem is solved by you and the answer is stored in smaller answer. The bigger problem is solved by recursion. You don't care, you don't worry about how recursion will solve it. All you will do is have full faith and trust that recursion will solve it. And we call recursion to solve the bigger problem, which is x power n minus 1. And then whatever answer recursion returns us, we store them in a variable. And then we somehow try to combine the answers. We combine smaller answer and bigger answer to get the final answer, and that is what we return then. Now let us actually dry run this and see how it actually works, how it internally works. Now for writing a recursive code, you don't need to you don't need to do the dry run in your head. Have full 100% faith and belief on recursion and things will work out for sure. But many times to make our code more efficient, or maybe to figure out if there is a mistake or not, we need to know how to dry run our recursive algorithms. Okay, so let's try to dry run this code. Okay, so now you see this is my main function. I'm calling this function for 2 and 5. X is 2, n is 5. So I want to find 2 power 5 here. Okay, so let's say I'm running this function 2 comma 5. Okay, so here x is 2, n is 5. Okay, now what am I doing? I'm saying if n is equal to 1, return x. But n is not 1, n is 5. Okay, so then I come here and I say smaller answer is x. So in line number 9, I'll say smaller answer is x, which is 2. Then in line number 2, in line number 10, in 11, I'll say bigger answer is recursive call on x comma n minus 1. So in line number 11, the bigger answer will be this function call, power 2 comma 4. Here n was 1, but when I'm making a function call, I'm passing n minus 1. So here it will, in this function call, it will receive x as 2, but it will receive n as 4. Okay. So now in this function call, now the first function call we had for 2 comma 5, now this will wait. This will keep on waiting for this new function call to get over. Once this function call gets over, only then the control returns to this first function call. Okay. So here again in line number 9, again here it will be checking if n is 1. No bro, n is not 1. Then it will do smaller answer is x. Okay, so smaller answer is x, which is 2. Then again in line number 11, again it will say bigger answer is a function call. Okay, another function call. Okay, interesting. So here it will make another function call on power of 2 comma 3. Now in this function call, x is equal to 2, n is equal to 3. And here again it will check the base case if n is equal to 1. No, not at all. N is 3, it's not 1. So then it moves ahead, and in line number 9 it says smaller answer is x, which is 2. Then in line number 11, bigger answer is a function call. So since it's a function call, it makes another function call, say power of 2 comma 2. In this function call now x is 2, n is 2. Again it checks this base case if n is 1. No, n is not 1. N is 2 here. So again it skips this base case, it comes to line number 9 and it says smaller answer is x. So in line number 9 again it says smaller answer is x, which is 2. Then in line number 11 it says bigger answer is, again it makes a function call. Okay, so we'll again make a function call, and now this function call goes, let's say here, okay, here this function call comes 2 comma 1. Now here x is 2, n is 1. Now here In this function call, finally the base case, if n is equal to 1, this becomes true. This gets triggered and this becomes true. So since this becomes true, it enters the if condition and simply returns x in line number 6. So what it does is, in line number 6, it says return x, and x is what? X is 2. So this function call is now finally over. And it comes and returns back the answer of 2 here. So bigger answer now receives 2. And if you just see the structure right now, it's such a beautiful structure. You see this function call started, now it's waiting. It called this function call. It is also waiting. It called this function call. It is also waiting. Now it called this function call. It is also waiting. It called this function call. When it got over, it returned the answer to this, and the control comes back to this function call. But even when I'm in this function call power of 2, 2, all the previous 3 function calls are still waiting. कि भाई कब वो power 2, 2 खत्म होगा. Power 2, 2 खत्म होगा तो control power 2, 3 पे आएगा. Power 2, 3 खत्म होगा तो control will come to power 2, 4. And then the control will come to power 2, 5, and so on. This is how it is going. And till then, all these function calls keep on waiting. यहाँ पे 2 आ गया. And then this function call moves ahead. It moves ahead from line number 11. Now it goes to line number 12, where it says final answer is smaller answer into bigger answer. So now it says final answer is smaller answer into bigger answer is equal to 2 into 2, 4. And then in line number 13, it simply returns that. Okay. So it says return 4. Okay. So this function is then returning 4. But do you see how beautifully power 2, 2 is kind of returning 4, because it should be returning 4. Power 2, 2 should give me 2 power 2. Power 2, 1 should give me 2 power 1, which is 2. So then this returned 4. Here I got 4. I'll move ahead and I'll come to line number 12. Here again it will say final answer is what? Smaller answer into bigger answer, which is 2 into 4, 8. Then in line number 13, I will simply return final answer. So I am returning final answer. Okay, I am returning final answer. Then when it returns final answer, again the control goes from here. This function is also over now. It returns to here. I am getting, what is the value here? Here I am passing 8. So here I'll receive 8. And again in this function call, now power 2, 3 is over. So the control comes back to power 2, 4. Here again I have, in line number 12, final answer is equal to smaller answer into bigger answer is equal to 2 into 8 is equal to 16. And then in line number 13, I'll return 16. Okay. And then this function is also over. It returns 16. Here I'll receive 16. And then finally the control comes back to the original function. This 2, 1 is over, power 2, 2 is over, power 2, 3 is over, power 2, 4 is over, and finally the control comes back to power 2, 5. Here in line number 12, it says final answer is smaller answer into bigger answer, which is 2 into 16, which is 32. Then in line 13, it returns 32. So finally, this function call, which is the very first function call, this is also over, and it returns 32 as my final answer. So this is how you dry run a code, a recursive code. And in any point in time, if you have written a recursive algorithm and it is not working fine, trust me, if you take a piece of paper and a pen and if you do a dry run properly, line by line, then it is impossible that you will not able to find the error in the code. It is just impossible. If you do a good dry run, you will be able to find the mistake if there is a mistake. Okay. So that's it for today's video. And if you want to learn these concepts in a much more in-depth manner and prepare for Mang or similar companies directly from developers who are working at Mang, then do join CodeCurdos. And I'll see you all in the next video.